Hello folks and welcome along to the channel. We are here with F1 OG and their Season 5 Round 2 race here at Silverstone, and it's going to be a one-shot qualifying, then followed up by a 9-lap sprint race, then another one-shot qualifying, and then a 26-lap main race. We've already got Braden Neal in the chat. Welcome along, Braden. Glad to have you with us right now. I'm going to have a quick check. Now, where is it? Where is it? So, having a look at the standings, of course, Night Flash last week out had the top spot and ended up getting 40 points. So he sits at the top of the championship right now. In second place, we've got James, who finished second and got 35 points. Braden in third has got 30 points. Ross in fourth has got 25. Fifth for Thomas, who's on 22. Idle North is on 20 points, sitting in sixth place. In seventh is Majin on 18. Then we've got Pip on 15 points. In eighth place, Mosey is on 11. In ninth, then we've got San in 10th on 10 points. We've got CJ Drama in 7th, in 11th on 7 points. And then we've got Soph, Ben, Codes Slinky, Steam Swede, Spike, Vaporish Benji, Dan Robo, DJ DK, Nobby, and Scouser all on 0 points. And that was for in Abu Dhabi last week. If any of you guys watched it, we've got the constructors standings here. Silver sitting at the top on 70 points. Great showing out from them last week. Ferrari is on 50 points in second place. In third is Alpine on 31 points. Racing Bulls on 25 in fourth. In fifth is Williams on 22 points. Mercedes are on 18 points, sitting in sixth. Haas on 10 points in seventh. Then we've got 8th place Aston Martin on 7 points. And McLaren and Red Bull have still got to get any points on the board. Looking at McLaren, yep, McLaren there. And who else was it? Red Bull there. So Red Bull are missing a driver, it seems, unfortunately. So, but less of a chance for them to get some points here tonight. Now, a little fact about this track, the tyres that we are also going to be using here tonight are the hardest of the bunch. It's the C3 softs, C2 mediums and the C1 hard compound tyres. We've got 18 corners at this track, over 5.891 kilometres or 3.66 mile. And as I said before, it's going to be a 9-lap sprint race followed up by a 26-lap main race. 2 seconds, there we go. We've got the chat up here again, as I get to see that now. So it looks like the timer has started and we're about to get underway for this. And it's going to be a one-shot qualifying. We've seen in the chat that some people in the Discord, some people are thinking that it could be most likely going to be a 2-stop race. So that is interesting to know. So let's see. Yep, so it's saying, some people saying that it's could possibly be a 2-stop, but we'll see. We'll see as we're all getting loaded in now, and we're just going to be waiting for drivers to sort their strategies out and well, their setups, sorry, and then depending on what tyre they want to run, most likely the softs. So here we go, folks, loading into it now, and then we'll go Looking like it's a slight bit overcast, and I hope that didn't just flash up as somebody's just pressed X, and it looks like they have, and I don't think people are going to be particularly happy about that. Yep, and San has just stated that, don't ready up, and someone already has, it seems, so that's going to be fun. Whoever that would have been, I'm sure something will happen. So there we go, looks like we're getting ready to get going. We'll go on board with Dr. Braden in the silver right now. He's just coming in to turn one there of Abbey. Then we've got Farm and then Village. Moving into the loop before going on to the Wellington Straight. DRS is wide open here, and everyone seems to be on the soft, so that's all good. Looks like James is quite a far way out in the distance. Dr. Bradentoe is moving up as he's coming through Brooklands and Luffield. Through Woodcut onto the old start-finish straight. You can still see the markings that still gets used for GT3 and other such sports. Through Cops nicely and into Maggots and Beckett's. Blood Sugar Ben has retired from the Grand Prix, from the qualifying session. I think that could be due to possibly invalidated their lap time. Dr. Braden currently sitting in seventh, sorry, and then moved down. San has retired also, coming through Cops. Stowe, sorry. And then into Vale and Club now. Around the final corner, James puts in the 126, 8.8. Dr. Braden manages to get into 7th place there with the 127. I did just miss that. And looking at the Discord. So there we go, James managing to get the fastest time of 126.818. Now we've got Nick Flash in second place, Horatio in third, fourth for Fake Scouser Northover in fifth, Dr. Braden sixth, seventh for Dan Idle North in eighth, CG Drama in ninth, 10th for Mr. Spike Cody in 11th. Then we've got Blood Sugar Ben who's going to be starting in 12th. Andrew Pip Smith in 13th, San in 14th, Benji in 15th, 16th for Millsy, and Robbo in 17th. And there you have it, folks. That is the end of the one-shot qualifying. And now we're going to be getting on to the 9-lap sprint here. Still slightly overcast. Can there be a chance of rain? Anyone who's in the chat who's racing right now, I'd be really appreciative if you could let me know that. Let's see if someone is going to ready up again. It's hopefully not. Hopefully it gives everyone a chance to get their strategies sorted. So let's see now. Should be just getting ready. Everyone should be going about now. taking a bit longer, but that could be because some people never managed to get setups correctly done, of course, but there we go. Now we've got the formation lap starting. We'll go to sort of see the tyres, and Cody actually starting on the hard compound tyres. We've got Horatio in third place on the softs, same with Andrew Pipsmith in 13th on the softs. Millsy and Robbo at the back on the softs also. Everyone else on the medium compound tyres to go 9 laps. That's it's quite curious how there's quite a disparity there between the tyres. Of course, no pit stops mandatory in the Sprint Grand Prix. So all pit stops will be a choice. They'll be expected to run straight for 9 laps. Also, Horatio and Cody, both volumes going either extreme. It's quite a curious one, I will say, especially with the hard tyres. Was it a mistake or was it intentional? I'm unsure on that. There we go. Send both hards, both softs and mediums, and hards easily go to the end. Not send for them to switch onto any tyre, so that's quite a curious one. They're just coming down the hanger straight now into Stowe. And then after that, oh, Cody and Mr. Spike both having a little coming together, and then that ends up putting them straight back on the grid. And of course, if you've not managed to get your tyres heated up, then you're going to be waiting there for quite a while on getting them, letting them tyres cool back down, as the drivers are all making their way into their grid positions now. So they've been sitting on the grid for an extra little bit longer, and the other drivers have managed to get a little bit more heat into their tyres, so I wouldn't expect much from Mr. Spike or Cody at launch. Off the line, we've got a really terrible camera angle. It seems we're just waiting on, oh, there we go, it sorted itself. That is brilliant. There we go, we've got 1 red light, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Cody's got a drive-through penalty on the hards. That is not good. And there's chaos already. It looks like the Aston Martin of Mr. Spike, I think it was, ended up going into the side of Cody. Was it the Alpine of Idle North? I think it was, sorry. Yep, Idle North, have they got front wing damage? I think they do. Yep, they're struggling to get around that corner. That is really unfortunate. Both the Alpines right down at the back of the grid. Mr. Spike and Benji going battling out, and Benji managing to get up into 12th place, and they'll go and see Seiji Drama going flying off. And at Brooklands there, I think that may have been Cody making contact. Could be possibly. I did miss that. James has fell down into 3rd place. Night Flash and Horatio have managed to jump up and get up there into 1st and 2nd, and now Fake Scouts are moving down as Northover ends up getting up into 4th position. I'm going to move further up the field and look at this battle here for 2nd place, as Night Flash is disappearing off into the distance. Robbo dropping down 2 places as San and Millsy managed to get past. Looking on at the Ferrari of James, managing to get past and up into 2nd place there. Looking on as all the drivers are coming into club there. Vale and Club. And we'll see, I think that's Cody jumping into the pit lane, serving that penalty. Of course, I think they've not got any damage, so they won't be needing to make a pit stop either, so that's a bit of a bonus there. Idle North got a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, not managing to get that car slowed down enough, it seems, going into the pits. And that is certainly not the best thing to happen, especially with everything that has already happened. Moving up further to the front. Night Flash managing to break out of that DRS zone now, and it looks like he's managed to get over a second, but can James reel it back in? Horatio is still sitting on the gearbox of James, and just right behind that is Northover and Fake Scouser, followed by Braden, Dan and Andrew Pipsmith. Benji is slowly getting back up there. He's had to make a few overtakes, it seems. We'll have a quick look and look at the position changes. So Benji's up 6 positions. Dan managing to get to be overtaken by Andrew Pipsmith, who's now moved up into 7th place, up 6 positions. Same with Benji, both the highest gainers in this Grand Prix as of yet. Cody getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That'll be for track limit violations. James putting in the fastest lap of the race of 129.212, and he's managed to close that gap into the Silver of Night Flash, who thought he would have gotten away a bit more easily, but James has managed to reel him back in as they go through the loop and go on to the Wellington Straight. The Night Flash won't have DRS, James will, and he's managed to close that gap in quite quickly there, going into the inside of Brooklands, and gets that move done nicely there. Up into first place yet again goes James. Not getting the best of starts, but manages to pull it all back. And as we're looking on, we've seen Fake Scouser here going to try and move up the inside. Is he going to go for it? Nope, he never went for it in the end. Of course, that could always be quite catastrophic. We've seen what could happen at that corner in real F1, of course, a good few years ago now, in 21 I do believe it was, and that was absolutely insane crash, I will say. Looking on at Horatio now, he's just managing to edge out that gap between himself and Northover, but he's not going to manage to do it if he goes deep into corners like that. Unfortunately, went quite a bit deep there and had to compensate for it on the exit, and that allowed Northover to catch up just by a couple of tenths going into that section. Moving on, and Night Flash, is he going to manage to get back at James at the same place that he lost position at last lap? I don't think so. I think that gap is just slightly too big. Managed to close it in by 2 tenths, not enough to make any headway. Looking on at the view from James, we'll say I'm not a fan of the HP sponsor, the blue, it kinda, it's not very nice, I will say. But looking on at James here, is Night Flash going to be able to catch up before Stowe? Doesn't look like it. Let's have a look. Oh, could we see Robbo being overtaken by Mosey? Oh, and he cuts off that nose almost. Nice defending there from Robbo. Ever aggressive, but always fair on track that I've seen. Everyone just sort of settling into positions, it seems, up to now. Going down the Wellington Straight now. One thing I want to mention is Northover going to be able to catch up on Horatio in the closing stages of this race as the soft tyres deteriorate more, and the mediums will come into their own about, I would say, maybe the next lap or two. The medium tyres will be the better tyre. Just whether Andrew Pipsmith and Horatio can hold off the advances of the cars behind them, as they've got a lot of medium runners just behind them. No one getting close enough to go for deciding to go for an overtake just yet. Some of them been caught in a bit of a DRS train, so it's a bit unfortunate sometimes when that does happen, as it does make overtaking a bit more difficult. Onto the Wellington straight again, coming down into Brooklands and Luffield. Looking on at ratio, he's actually managed to open up a gap now to Northover. It is sitting at over a second now, so out of that DRS window, that could be quite a bonus there for... Oh, there we go, seeing Mosey and Robbo, and it looks like CJ Dram is trying to get involved in the action coming out of Luffield. As they're going around Luffield there, Robbo and Mosey busy battling, and CJ Drama looking for a move. And both the Alpine and the Aston Martin go way off at Cops there, and that could certainly have given them a warning. And hold on just a moment, just as I said that, with Horatio managing to pull a gap, now it looks like Northover is right on his coattail. The gap is increased to 3 seconds though to second place. Night Flash has got a clear run to battle with James here, and Horatio is in a whole heap of trouble now. Is it that these soft tyres are falling off and the medium tyres are starting to come into the stronger tyre right now? CJ Drama and Millsy battling out, and CJ Drama getting up into 14th position. Looking on, so is Northover going to go for it, going into Brooklands? He's got that inside line. He could quite possibly have the slightly superior grip. He's going to have to hold it around the outside or hope for a switchback. And now he's hoping to hold it around the outside. And going into Woodcut and coming up is going to be Cops. Whose corner is it going to be? Is it going to be the RB or the Williams? It looks like it's going to be the RB of Northover. Gets up there and gets up into third place there. Absolutely sensational driving. And just while that was happening, Dr. Braden and Fake Scouser battling out like crazy for that fifth position. Fake Scouser coming out on top there, managing to defend it quite nicely. So now with all that battling going on, the Northover and the rest have lost a lot of time. Looking on at Benji making moves there in the background, and up into 8th position on Dan Robbo, getting a 3-second time penalty. It is all starting to heat up here, folks, in the closing stages of this Grand Prix. Everyone is now realising that it's getting to crunch time, and they're going to have to go for that snooze, or you snooze, you lose pretty much. So let's see how everyone is going to be going. It looks like from third place down to 9th, there is a big load of cars. So Northover has got a little bit of a buffer there of having a ratio who could be disadvantaged on them soft tyres. But we'll see how that is going to fare with Fake Scouser and Dr. Braden. But he's still closing in on Northover, still keeping right on the exhaust of that RB, and still trying and hoping for that third place. We're on the penultimate lap of this sprint race. Now into Maggots and Beckett's they come. We'll go up to Night Flash and James. No progress there. They're still sitting at an even time. Looking at it on it, Northover, is he going to manage to fend off this attacking Williams? He does. Looking on at all the other drivers just behind, it seems like they are all quite separate there. Could we see Milsey going for a move on Robo? Looks like he is. He's going to go around the outside of Stoll. Is he going to manage to make it work? Yes, he does. Nicely done there from the Alpine driver to move up into 14th place and reclaim that position off Robbo. Of course, he would have already got it due to the penalty that Robbo has received. But now we are on the final lap and we are watching the battle for the lead. Right now we've got James and Nightflash just coming into Brooklands and Luffield. We're actually going to move down and see if the McLaren of Fake Scouser is going to manage to steal that 4th position. It seems like he is, as Horatio has just got a 3-second time penalty. That's going to move him down into 9th position, sorry. That is certainly not good there. And it looks like Horatio is just essentially moved out of the way there. He's always saving fuel also. And he's going to be running low. He's under fueled for this. Mr. Spike getting up past the blood sugar bend there. And Idle North getting past Robbo also, it seems, who's on fresh softs. Never noticed that. That is quite odd. We'll say, is Benji going to manage to get one more position? Nope. Andrew Pipsmith, the other biggest gainer in this, manages to hold on to that 7th place. James and Nightflash come across the line. James getting 1st place, Nightflash in 2nd. Then we've got Northover in 3rd, 4th for Fake Scouser, Dr. Braden in 5th, 6th for Andrew Pipsmith, Benji 7th, Horatio in 8th, unfortunately, with that time penalty done in 9th. Blood Sugar Ben in 10th, 11th for Mr. Spike Sand, 12th. CJ Drama comes home in 13th. Then we've got Millsy in 14th. But unfortunate for Idle North there, not having the greatest of starts. And same with Cody, also both having to come in for pit stops, I think, did. Yeah, and so did Robbo, unfortunately. So all 3 of them having to come in for pit stops. There we go, just waiting for the Alpine, the Red Bull and the Williams to come across the line. There we go, Idle North comes across the line, 10-second time penalty, that'll move him down into 16th position. And then we've got Cody just coming through. And there we have it, folks, that is the end of the Sprint Grand Prix. The 9-lap Sprint Grand Prix. That was certainly quite some good battling there on in the closing couple of laps. So there we go, we see James there getting the win and getting the fastest lap to boot, a 1:29.212. Then we've got Nightflash in his 2nd, 3rd place for Northover. Then we've got Fake Scouser, Dr. Braden, Andrew Pipsmith. Then we've got Benji in 7th, Horatio in 8th, Dan in 9th, Blood Sugar Ben in 10th, Mr. Spike in 11th. Then we've got San in 12th, CJ Drama in 13th, 14th for Millsy, Robbo in 15th, 16th for Idle North, and Cody, unfortunately, in 17th. So now we're going to be moving on to a one-shot qualifying again to determine the grid for the main race, the 29-lap Grand Prix. No, 26-lap Grand Prix, my mistake. So folks, it looks looking like it is going to be quite a dry qualifying session out there. The sun seems to be splitting the track, so it's going to be nice and clear. I wonder if that's going to be staying the same for the main race. We'll find out in a few moments. We're just waiting on everyone to sort setups and yeah, get everything else sorted. Oh, there we go. The timer has ticked down, and here we go. We are away, and we're going to see if we could get with Night Flash here. There we go. We're with Night Flash here as he's coming into turn 3. And now into the loop, turns 4 and 5 before heading on to the Wellington Straight. There we go. We'll get all the data up. Everyone on the softs coming into Brooklands, and now the big 180-degree turn of Luffield before getting on the power and going through Woodcutting, passing the old pit entry. Coming into Cops now, being sure not to cross that white line, foot flat to the floor, coming through Maggots and Beckett's. And just a small lift there as he comes through the third corner of Maggots and Beckett's before Chapel, and then on to the Hangar Straight, and now into Stowe. Oh, attacked that first curb just that tad aggressively. Certainly put him off line, coming into Vale and Club now. Final corner coming up and to the line, and he just manages Pepsi's teammate for that 5th position. So I didn't see that who actually got the. It looks like it was Fake Scouser, 127.621, managing to get that pole position. An incredible time there. In second place is Horatio, just a tenth down. James just under 2/10 down in the third place. Then we've got Idle North in fourth. Fifth for Night Flash, Dr. Braden in sixth. Benji in seventh. Then we've got San in eighth. Mr. Spike in ninth. 10th for Millsy. Andrew Pipsmith is going to settle into 11th place. Then we've got Robbo 12th. Blood Sugar Ben in 13th. 14th for Cody. Then we've got Northover in 15th, Dan 16th, 17th for CJ Drama, of course, Blood Sugar Ben, Cody, Northover, Dan and CJ Drama all did not manage to set a time. So now we're going to be moving on to the 26 lap Grand Prix. So folks, we're just waiting on the drivers sorting their strategies out, getting their tyres sorted, and we will be ready to go. Now we have it, folks. Now the lights are green for a formation lap. Everyone on the mediums except Horatio starting again on the softs. Got Blood Sugar Ben and Northover both opting for the hard tyres. Everyone else on the mediums at the start of this Grand Prix. So Horatio looking to try and make the jump on Fake Scouser at the start of this Grand Prix. And is doing his best Kimi Räikkönen impression, it seems, and just not bothering to warm up the tyres much. Just let them do their thing, no need to weave, it seems. So, interesting strategy, seeing how different everyone is in terms of opting for strategy. Most of the drivers opting for the mediums, but got a couple there opting for different strategies, and we'll see how they do end up coming. So we've got Blood Sugar Ben, Northover and Horatio all on different tyres compared to the rest of the field. Now, of course, anyone out there who's enjoying the video, please, if you're enjoying it, leave a like, and if you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. I think we've just hit 91 subscribers there, so not long until we reach 100, and every one really does mean a lot. So now we're going to be moving on to the start, as everyone is just getting all lined up. So that's CJ Drama just coming out of the final corner to fill up that final grid spot. Quite curious on how that Williams is going to get off the line on them soft compound tyres. He's got his nose pointing across to the front of that McLaren, and we've got 5 red lights. We've got another drive-through, and that's Andrew Pipsmith, who has done a drive-through. Bit of a delay there, it seems. And Horatio's managed to get a good start there up the inside. Oh, and that was almost contact there with James. Did James get a front wing destroyed there? No, but just managed to make it through. All good there, and it looks like the Williams is possibly going to fall back behind Night Flash. Nope, it looks like Night Flash didn't manage to get up and hold it around the outside. Oh, we see a Red Bull right off the track there. That was Robbo. And battling out with Sand coming into Brooklands and the left field. We've got the Red Bull on the outside, the Haas on the inside. Oh, and a little tap on the right rear of the Haas from the Red Bull of Robbo, and it looks like he manages to hold off, and San in 8th place there. We're going to move up the field a wee bit to see her ratio on them soft tyres. I'm really curious about that, as Northover and Blood Sugar Ben have all fell back, and same with Horatio has lost a position. So mediums proven to be the superior tyre. Is that the case, or I'm just unsure on that? I mean, of course, the hards aren't going to be the best tyres on lap 1, as Mr. Spike and CJ Drama swap positions, but is that going to allow Andrew Pipsmith up? No, it doesn't, as Andrew Pipsmith jumps into the pit lane. He's got that drive-through penalty to serve, so he's getting that done and out of the way right now, which is probably the smartest thing to do, get it over and done with on the lap 1, considering it could end up being potentially a safety car. There is always that potential, and that could end up leading to a disqualification, depending on how the game is. I remember that being something on the previous one. Kind of buggered you up, because you can't serve drive-throughs under the safety car conditions. Looking on at the back, Night Flash just poking his nose out, letting Horatio know that he's there. So like, yep, I'm still here, I could still see you. You're not going anywhere, it seems. So on board with a Robbo. He's got the Haas just up in front of San, and Robbo goes right off there, and that could definitely be a warning for going off wide at cops and exceeding the track limits. Got to make sure you keep it within them white lines, either that or do it too many times and definitely end up getting a penalty, as James is having a look up the outside of cops. Stowe here and there was no dice there trying to get a move on that wasn't available, and Fake Scouser managing to defend it quite nicely, and again going into club there, managing to fend off nicely. This is allowing Horatio to catch up. Cody getting a 3-second time penalty there, a bit unfortunate. Dr. Braden, fastest lap there. Night Flash is going to send it up the inside there, going into Village. It looked like he was trying it there to get that third position. But that's the thing, he's going to have to try and clear him as soon as he can. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. There's a driver off. Let's see who that is. That was CJ Drama, who's fell right down and has fell quite far down. Oh, what's happening? Oh, Cody off at Brooklands. And is he trying to get back on the track? Yep, he's struggling a wee bit with that 10-second time. I'm not going to agree with that. That was a bit harsh. He's trying to get back on the track, so I think maybe it could possibly be a lag issue, maybe. Hopefully he manages to get back sorted again. And somehow, well, one button wasn't working there. Yep, there we go, it's working again. So that's quite interesting. Unsure what happened there. Sure we'll end up finding out later on. Mr. Spike moving up into 10th place over Dan. Oh, and Northover going and exceeding track limits there. We've seen that on the exit of Stowe. Definitely got a warning there. James putting in a 1:30.506, increasing that gap over Fake Scouser. When did they switch? I completely missed that. I do apologise, folks. So it appears James is out in front. Cody, 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And yeah, I think that's understandable there. Not been their day, unfortunately. We'll see how things do end up faring for them in the coming future. Hopefully they could manage to get up there. Let's see how Night Flash is going to be doing up against Horatio as they come around Cops and into Maggots and Beckett's now. Currently sitting in 4th place just behind is a soft tyre runner of Horatio. Now, how long are these soft tyres going to last compared to Night Flash? I think someone said in the chat that they ended up suffering a puncture in the sprint race. So I think that was Robo actually suffered a puncture in the sprint race. So there we go. Horatio is coming into the pit lane. He'll be coming off them soft tyres, possibly slipping on a set of hards. Now, the good thing about this is he'll have a bit of clean air. You'll have no cars around him, so you should be able to get a good jump on the rest of the field. We'll see if that is going to be the case come the next pit stops. Next pit stop should come roughly, I would imagine, around lap 12. But of course, we'll see if that is going to be the case. Andrew Pipsmith, no, he forgot he ended up getting a... Oh, Mr. Spike getting that position back off of Dan. But yeah, Andrew Pipsmith ended up getting a drive-through penalty for a false start, unfortunately. So that's what dropped them right back. So Horatio now down 13 places, sitting in 15th. He's got a big bunch of clear air ahead of him, but he's got Andrew Pipsmith just behind him. Shouldn't be a problem. It's always been on them fresh tyres. Of course, looking at the tyres, it's mediums he's put on, so opting for a 2-stop here. It seems, as I don't think mediums are going to go to the end. They're certainly not going to go around 24 laps here, unfortunately. Dan being overtaken there by Northover. Northover moving up into 10th position there. Both of them are up 5 positions on their previous starting slot. We've got Benji here and Idle North, Night Flash, Fake Scouser, and James all still sitting in the top 5 slot. The DRS train, Dr. Braden just nipping at the heels there, and it's just a smidgen off. And he's just trying to use a bit more of that battery to try and get back in the groove and get back in that DRS train and close that gap on the drivers in front. And of course, looking at a ratio, he's managed to close that gap in by quite a considerable amount on. So what am I looking for here? So looking on at the gap to the leader is 27 seconds, and at this rate, I would honestly think that if everyone was to pit, Horatio might just come out in the lead. It's going to be a tough one to say whether that is going to be the case or not at this moment. I've got the time down here as about 22 seconds, but I think it's a little bit longer than that for a pit stop here. Benji's unfortunately fell out of that DRS window. And Fake Scousers actually fell out of the DRS window there for a briefest of moments on James. But he's managed to pull it back here, and James is actually doing exceptional. He's barely using any battery, he's just hitting every corner, every apex, nice and smooth. And he's actually managed to increase that gap as he got it, yet Fake Scouser just managing to get it, so that's going to be able to help him to harvest a bit more down the straight. Of course, you don't want to be using your battery too much, as he's going to have to be defending it from Night Flash behind, and he certainly won't be wanting that. Dr. Braden moving up into 5th position, but looks like he gave the position back to Benji there. So, and they've lost a lot of time on the drivers in front. It's increased by over 2 seconds there between Benji, or Dr. Braden at the time, and Idle North. Has Fake Scouser got the DRS again? I don't think he has. He's going to have to try and reel that back in over the next few corners. Looking on at North over here, he could be going for a move on Robbo, and there we go. He's pulling out to the left-hand side, taking that outside line, and gets done before the braking zone. Fake Scouser has jumped into the pit lane. Let's see what tyres he will be going on. We'll get the tyre strat up there, and it looks like he's on the hard tyres, and he's in there already. That was nice and quick. Horatio is just coming around the club now. Where is this going to bring him out? Is he going to be behind Fake Scouser? And no, Horatio just manages to get past Fake Scouser, and could Horatio end up taking the lead in this Grand Prix? It is quite the possibility here. He was 1 second behind James coming into the pit lane. Oh, Mr. Spike and Robbo battling out there. But of course, he was only 1 second behind, and yeah, so Horatio could end up taking the lead of this Grand Prix in the next set of pit stops there. Seen Dan managing to move up there, but all battling out Mr. Spike there. Looking at Mills, he's always managing to gain up with all this commotion that's going on. But he's unfortunately just fell out of the DRS window. Moving up to Dr. Braden, though, and Benji, they're battling out tooth and nail there, and Benji's managed to pull into the pit lane. And he's going to be taking a jump at getting there, and he's going to end up coming out behind, possibly behind Andrew Pip Smith here, so that's certainly not going to be good. Robbo is also into the pit lane, getting a tyre change. We'll see how all this is going to unfold and who's going to be out on top at the end of the pit stops. Of course, James is trying to do whatever he can to try and close that gap, trying to open that gap up as much as possible, so you could filter out into some clean air. Of course, it's going to be very difficult with them being in the lead, but right now Idle North on the coattails of Night Flash here still. We're on lap 9 in this Grand Prix, and Night Flash is 9/10 ahead, and it looks like he's just managed to break it going into the DRS zone. Yep, he does. DRS detection point, and he just manages to increase that gap just enough so it doesn't look like Idle North is going to be getting it, so that's a bit unfortunate there for him. Mr. Spike though is lining up a spectacular move here on Dan. Is he going to manage to pull it off? He's got to get a good exit here from Chapel and getting on the power. DRS open battery usage and slipstream being used also. Is he going to manage to close the gap and send it up the inside here? Yes, he is in that Aston Martin and gets up going into Stowe and gets up into 7th place there. Spectacular move there from Mr. Spike. Dan, let's see if he's going to be coming back again as Mosey comes into the pit lane, and so does Dr. Braden. So gaps all opening up, and it seems Horatio is now just past Dr. Braden. So Horatio doing absolutely sensational right now. He's managed to open up a gap to Fake Scouser of 1.6 seconds. So let's see what the gap to the leader is now. 26.6 seconds. It's not opened up that much. It's not closed up that much, as James has been pushing quite hard, it seems. Andrew Pipsmith on the tail of Benji, hoping to get past, as it looks like Benji's tyres will have been up to temperature by now. Seems that Dr. Braden could be lining up a move here. But right now we're going to move up to Dan. Is he going to manage to get back at Mr. Spike here, coming into Stowe? Nope, he's just trying to close that gap, wait for a better opportunity to get past it. Right now we'll go back down to Dr. Braden, lining up a move on Andrew Pip Smith here. Fresh mediums versus the old. Oh, and that was not nice there. Both of them being a tad aggressive to each other. Oh, Dr. Braden getting on that sausage curb there on the inside of the apex. You don't want to be doing that. That certainly does like to unsettle the car. We've got Idle North here and Night Flash still battling out for that position of 2nd place. And is he going to go for it around the outside of Cobbs? Looks like he is. Absolutely sensational move from Idle North to get that 2nd place there. Certainly was. Brilliant overtake there, and on old mediums nonetheless. Let's see how Night Flash is going to respond to this going into Stowe. He's using some of that battery, realises that there isn't much chance to catch up and close that gap just yet. He's just going to have to be a little bit patient as we're just coming up to the halfway point in this Grand Prix. But oh, Night Flash just coming into the pit lane. Oh, he just couldn't get the car slowed down in time and gives himself a 10-second time penalty. That's certainly not what Night Flash wants. It's not what anyone wants, unfortunately. And now we're going to look down at Dan, who's just waiting for that right time to go for the move on Mr. Spike. So Night Flash into the pits. He's been served. And Horatio and Fake Scouser are both going to get him. As Benji, Dr. Braden puts in the fastest lap time. It looks like Night Flash has managed to get out in front of Benji by a good couple of seconds there. So that's given him a little bit of clear air to get them tyres up to temperature. Looking on now at Fake Scouser and Horatio as they fly past Blood Sugar Ben there. both having the DRS, and Bod Sugar Ben not wanting to fight much of it, it seems. Realising he is on a different strategy, of course. And, oh, getting on the power a bit too much there, and almost sending the rear, overtaking the front of the car. Looking on at fake Scouser and the other McLaren here, trying to close that gap to Horatio. This is a battle for the lead, but it looks like Horatio will need to make another pit stop at one point, and it could be quite soon. Looking on at 7-lap old medium compound tyres, of course, we want to get them off quite soon. I think possibly in the next 4 laps. Oh, and we've seen a battle going into the pit. This is between Dan and Mr. Spike, and that is where Dan gets his overtake done. Absolutely sensational. That was absolutely beautiful, and if anyone's seen some of my content on my old channel, you would realise that was something I love to do, was go for an overtake going into the pit lane. It was always sensational, as it's never really expected, and I will say that was absolutely beautiful, and he manages to get back out just ahead of Mr. Spike on the pit exit. And I think actually Mr. Spike got a 10-second time penalty there. He did, for speeding going into the pit lane, so a bit unfortunate there. But yeah, that's the things you've got to do in racing, is just go for it at any opportunity. And well, we've seen, I think it was Sebastian Vettel in China. I can't remember what year it was. I think it was 2007 actually, possibly. And no, later than that at some point. Going for an overtake, going into the pit lane and managing to get a couple of people. It was actually quite sensational. Can't remember what year exactly, but definitely shows you've got to go for it. Looking at Night Flash here, there's another one who's got to go for it. Getting past Bod Sugar Ben there. Bod Sugar Ben being on them 12-lap old hard compound tyres. Certainly not going to be the best at this stage compared to the 1-lap old hards. Now that they will be up to temperature. We've got two in the pits. We've got James and Idle North both opting to come into the pits now. Northover takes the lead at this Grand Prix. So Bod Sugar Ben and Northover, only two drivers still yet to pit. Actually, sorry, make that just Northover, as Bod Sugar Ben has come into the pit lane. We've got James actually managed to come out in second place. Alright, that wasn't expected. So James managed to get in and get back out and is in second place still. Actually quite surprised after seeing the ratio dropping all the way back down to like 15th. But yeah, that's quite surprising. Seeing how big the gaps are, you don't realise that at first. Looking on at Dr. Braden, is he going to go for a move on Benji? It doesn't look like he is, unfortunately. Not just yet. He's going to be waiting for that DRS coming out of Chapel Corner. There we go. We've got Maggots, and then we've got Beckett's here. Now we've got this little left kink here of Chapel before he got on the power, going down the hanger straight. DRS wide open, battery being squeezed like a sponge. And there we go. Looks like Dr. Braid's going to be able to get that 5th position off of the Mercedes driver. And is he going to have a chance at fighting back? Nope, he's managed to clear that gap, coming out of Stowe just nicely. And now we see Horatio now coming into the pit lane. His strategy has not worked out as he was intending, unfortunately. So did opt to start on the soft tyres, went onto the mediums, and now is about to go on to, I'm guessing, another set of mediums. Yep, to do another 10 laps on them. So not opting to do any more laps than that on the medium tyres, it seems. Go with Fake Scouser now, who's still trying to chase down James here. Actually looking at San right now, he's sort of looking at the times, is sort of in no man's land there. A bit with Idle North, of course. Idle North can see a bit of Benji. so I can see a little bit of CG drama behind him, but other than that, sort of nowhere. It seems. We'll go up to fake Scouser here. Oh, they'll go a bit too far back to get a move done at any point just yet. What about the Mercedes of Benji? Doesn't look like he's managing to get close enough to go for a move either just yet. As Northover finally comes in off of them hard compound tyres. He could actually do a one-stop here. He's going to be coming in off of them hard tyres for the first time now. Did stretch it out to try and see if there was a safety car. That would be absolutely typical of a safety car to come out after this. Of course, we've only got 10 laps left in this Grand Prix. Benji and Dr. Braden have been real close to each other, battling out for that position for quite a few laps now. Let's see, is Benji going to manage to close this gap? He's just using the DRS at the moment, not opting to use any of the battery, just harvesting that for now. Let's have a look at penalties right now. So Mr. Spike on a 10-second time penalty, same with Night Flash, for both for speeding in the pit lane. 6 seconds for Dan and Robbo, who both have been exceeding the track limits. Not very nice. Mr. Spike, no, Robbo, sorry, just mentioned it. I think it was Robbo just getting past there, or was it Mr. Spike? I'm unsure. But Mr. Spike in 11th place, and we've got Robbo then Horatio just behind that, who's out on them fresh mediums and is going to have the grippiest tyres on the track. Actually, no, Northover is, as he is the most recent one to come into the pits. We're going to see Horatio go for a move here on Robbo. He's using some of that battery, but Robbo has got the slipstream, and it looks like he's going to get the overtake on Mr. Spike. Is Horatio going to be able to follow through? They're going to be going too wide here into Vale. It looked like it was going to be 3 wide there. A little bit of a love tap there from Robbo, and Mr. Horatio manages to get past CJ Drama. Has been overtaken by Northover also for that 8th position. And look at that gap, that's just allowed Mr. Spike to pull out almost, actually a second of a gap now. So quite a considerable amount just there. Look at that, since Dan done that overtake there on Mr. Spike, he's managed to open up quite a considerable gap also there. Going to move up to Benji right now, who's right on the tail of Dr. Braden, still in this Grand Prix. And could the medium tyres be going into, could the hard tyres be coming into Benji's favour? Certainly not with driving like that, unfortunately. Going out a bit wide there on the exit of Beckett's there. Night Flash still sitting with a 10-second time penalty. That's going to move him down into 6th position. But unfortunate there. We'll see how that is going to fare for him in the later stages. We've just seen Horatio there getting past Mr. Spike and up into 11th place there. Now let's see, is Dan going to be able to make any headway on CJ Drama here? He's got the tyre advantage, got the 5-lap younger hard compound tyres here. Only 3/10 of a gap. Let's see, and it's only he has got 6 seconds worth of penalties, so that's certainly not going to be helping him. He will have to open up quite a gap here after he makes this overtake if he wants to try and seal the deal. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. That's for, is that an Alpine? I think that is an Alpine of Millsy. I think they've retired on the track, so that is certainly could be investigated after the Grand Prix for retiring on the track. Of course, we all know the rules in league racing now. Oh, Night Flash here and Fake Scouser battling it out there. And it looks like Night Flash has managed to get the move done and up into second position. Really sorry about that, folks, there. Missing all the action there, but yeah, of course, retiring on track in this in online racing could end up bringing out the safety car, and things could just end up going awry from there. So people often say retire in the pit lane, but sometimes some folk don't do that sometimes, and sometimes there are repercussions. Let's see how Fake Scouser is going to respond. Is he going to manage to get back up there? Doesn't look like it. Of course, Fake Scouser can just sit there nice and tidy. Doesn't have to bother about going for the position. He's going to get it on track, off track anyway due to the penalty. All he just needs to do is sit within that 10-second window of Night Flash. On it, Idle North, Benji and Dr. Braden here, and they're all battling out for this fourth position. None of them have penalties. Benji went a bit deep into Beckett's again, carrying too much momentum, and it looks like it's left him vulnerable here to the Alpine of Idle North, who now moves up into fifth place. Start fourth, now in fifth. Nicely done, but oh, he's went deep going into club. And that has left the door open for the Mercedes. And is he going to manage to squeeze past going onto the start finish straight? Doesn't look like it. So Benji, Idle North, sorry, getting a bit lucky there. Benji, not so much. Look on a Fake Scouser right now. Is he going to manage to close this gap just yet? Nope, he's not opting to do much. Just using some of that DRS to try and close the gap a little. Let's see how these three are going to be faring here. Benji opting for a tighter line there on Idle North and Dr. Braden. Now coming into Maggots and Beckett's. Before you end up coming to the final of this S section of Chapel and on to the hangar straight now for the DRS has been activated, and it looks like Idle North is going to be able to get that overtake done on Dr. Braden. Benji not managing to follow suit just yet. 129.549 for James, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Benji coming into the pits, same with Dr. Braden. So this wasn't expected, I will say. So Benji and Dr. Braden both opting to come into the pit lane and get a change of tyres. Where they're going to come out is anyone's guess. Oh, did you see Sam just getting overtaken north of her or not? That was on the folks in the pit lane. Dr. Braden has set on the intermediate tyres. I'm pretty sure that's not what he meant. If it starts raining right now, I'm going to be howling my head off, and I'm like, this is going to end up being the funniest thing ever. But looking at the sky, it does look like it could rain. I mean, look at the clouds up in the sky, so... But yeah, I would say it's certainly too early to come into the pits for a set of inters anyway, even if it is a way to rain. And Mr. Spike getting a 3-second time penalty again. Benji getting past Dr. Braden finally. And... I'm unsure, is that raining or not? I'm unsure if that's just speed lines or if that is actual rain, because I'm unsure about that. It is raining. Has Dr. Braden just pulled a blinder here? He's came in for tyres, 10-second time penalty for two drivers there. Blood Sugar Ben, and who was that? That was that Mr. Spike there? Northover's got himself a 3-second time penalty also. Dr. Braden on the intermediates already. Is this a good time for the intermediates or not? Can he pull an absolute blinder here? He's sitting 45 seconds off of the lead here. CJ Dram being overtaken by Horatio. We've got 4 and a bit laps left in this Grand Prix here. And we've seen Mr. Spike and Blood Sugar Ben coming in for the intermediate tyres also. Robbo and Benji both came in for the mediums. We've seen San being overtaken by Northover. Northover got the Grippers medium tyres on, but of course they are dry, so it just comes down to a bit of luck here. Andrew Pipsmith getting a 3-second time penalty. It is all heating up here in the closing stages of this Grand Prix. I'm going to go on board with Dr. Braden and we'll watch that gap to the leader. He's not managed to open up any, close any gap, unfortunately, as things stand yet. I think he may have came in just a lap too early. Looks like it's San. Is he going to manage to close that gap? Doesn't look like it. We're going to move down to Horatio. Is sitting in 8th place, 8-lap old hard medium compound tyres, is sitting 8 tenths now behind on Dan. Now, is this rain going to end up getting heavy enough for actual intermediate tyres? And when we do know that, especially, is when race control gives us the DRS disabled notification. That is just the little bit of a guarantee that it's officially classed as a wet track. Of course, when it is a wet track, there will be no DRS. Makes overtaking a little bit more difficult, but it is much needed. So looking on the gap to the leader now, Dr. Braden is still 2 seconds slower than James. And if we go to the fastest lap, so Dr. Braden 130.372 and James a 129.549, of course. It is quite a bit of a difference here, and it's seeming that the dry tyres are still the superior tyre to be on. Benji's managed to increase that gap on Dr. Braden by a considerable amount, unfortunately, so this intermediate tyres not proving to be the essential tyre needed, and it looks like the dry tyres are still the best tyre to be on. Of course, saying that, Fake Scouser is on 16 lap old hard tyres, same with CJ Drama. 11 lap old tyres for San and Dan, and Idle North on 10 lap old hard, same with James. And Andrew Pipsmith 11 lap old hards also, so certainly not the best for them. They'll be struggling out there quite a bit. It seems as the rain slowing off. Was it just a bit of a light spitter? It seems like it could be. Doesn't seem to be that the track is getting any wet enough for intermediates, as it seems Dr. Braden and Andrew Pipsmith are even here, but looks like Dr. Braden is not getting the grip that he's needing, and he's actually struggling, unfortunately, so trying to pull a little bit of a fast one, and unfortunately has not paid off for Dr. Braden, Blood Sugar Ben or Mr. Spike, so trying to capitalise on seeing the first little bit of rain and expecting it to come falling down, and we've been unfortunately proven wrong here on this outing here today. And we see Benji now right behind CJ Drama, and this is for 9th position, sorry. And oh, they're going to be side by side, and the fresh medium's providing to be the better tyre, but Benji hands that position back as they did make contact, so in order to avoid an investigation later on, so he hands that position back. Now he's going to be able to get it back on this DRS straight. There we go, DRS is activated and he manages to make that look nice and easy, so a lot more simpler there for Benji. No contact made, so nicely done. San not managing to close that gap on Northover just yet. So a bit unfortunate there for the intermediate runners there to not manage to get this pull off anyway. Commiserations to them. Ratio though still sitting right close to the back of Dan. We could see him going for the move on the next lap. San has managed to close the gap on Northover though. So it's still raining quite hard out there, but still not enough for intermediate tyres it seems, or it could be just as it's getting a bit late in this Grand Prix. Ratio going for a move here on Dan, not needed, but gets it done anyway, wants to get it done on the track just to make sure. So Ratio moves up into 7th place. And wait a minute, we've got James just coming around the final corner here to finish the race and get that victory there. Absolutely spectacular from James. Then we've got Night Flash who's coming around in 2nd place, could end up being 3rd. We'll need to see how things are going to fare. Night Flash, is he going to manage to steal this 2nd place? He does, and he gets that 2nd place off of Night Flash, who unfortunately got a 10-second time penalty. Idle North finishes in 4th. We've got Ross Northover here coming in 5th place, but does have a penalty unfortunately, so could be moving down into 6th. Yes, he does. San moves up into 5th, Northover in 6th. 7th place for Horatio. Benji in 8th, Dan in 9th. We've got CJ Drama actually moves into 9th and Dan moves down, 3/10 the gap there. Andrew Pipsmith coming around in 11th place. Dr. Braden, unfortunately, they're opting for the intermediate tyres, not proving to be the best tyre, unfortunately. Then we've got Robbo coming home in 13th position. Blood Sugar Ben, unfortunately, with a 10-second penalty, ends up in 14th position. We've got Mr. Spike, the last one of the lot, to come across the line in 15th position. And there we have it, folks. That is the end of the 2nd round of the F1 OG League here on Thursday night. We'll have a quick check and see what the next race is going to be, of course, if it decides to load up. So the next race is going to be in Hungary next Thursday, so tune in for that, of course. And we'll get on to there we go. We've got James Mungin to get both the win and the sprint win there. And then we've got Fake Scouser in second place, Night Flash in the third, Ida North fourth. Then we've got San fifth, sixth for Northover. Horatio in seventh, eighth for Benji. CJ Drama in ninth, 10th for Dan. Then we've got Andrew Pipsmith in 11th, Dr. Braden 12th, Robbo finished in 13th, 14th for Blood Sugar Ben, and Mr. Spike in 15th. 16th for Cody and Cody in 17th and Milsey in 16th, and they both did not finish the Grand Prix. Sorry about that there, folks, but that is the end of the stream. So until next time, take care and peace out.